Watch Talk Heathen live Sundays at 1 p.m. Central. Visit tiny.cc/YTTH and call into the show at 512-991-9242 or connect to the show online at tiny.cc/callth.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Truth Wanted. I am your host tonight, ObjectivelyDan, and joining me is a special guest. We always have special guests on this show. It's Brently. Brently, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Going pretty good. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is Truth Wanted. This is a live call-in show that happens every single week, Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time, where we talk to people about what they believe and why. Brently, we just had a really awesome Halloween special broadcast that if you didn't watch, you missed out. If you like this show, you need to go watch that stream. It was really fun. We're going to talk about it in a second. But first, Brently, welcome to the show. Tell us about yourself. Who are you?
Thanks, man. I am Brently. I am I've been podcasting for a couple of years now. I was raised like homeschooled, very indoctrinated and everything. And ended up getting out of that. I've been podcasting for a bit now. I just got on a show called Left of the Valley fairly recently, within like the past year. So that's been kind of cool. It was originally a Canadian show, like a fully like a Canadian show, and fortunately, one of the co-hosts of the show they passed away. It was Nancy, and she was awesome and just so much fun to listen to. Which when she passed away, they kind of stopped. They went on hold, and after a bit of time there, Nancy said that she wanted them to keep going, once they when she left, and they basically, a lot of calls sort of came from the audience. Was like, hey, you're going to start this back up again. And Kevin is like the main host of the show, was like, yeah, we're going to start it up again. So he like came out and put a call out on a podcasting group that I'm in, and I answered it, and so I was like, yeah, man, like, can I do it? And so I auditioned, and yeah, so I've been on Left of the Valley, and it's a great show. It's
and tell us what is Left at the Valley. What is the general premise of the show?
So it's like the first half. Okay, so the first half of the show is basically we each get a segment, and it's it's very comedy centric. Like we do it's a lot of fun and just like goofing around and stuff. And we each have a different segment, and I personally have another brilliant moment brought to you by religion, so that's kind of fun. And it's generally something like a clip from like the Elijah List or something, where they're interviewing prophets, where it's just crazy, and they say something wild. And then we have like a segment called Things to Make You Go and it's just usually weird news.
Yeah.
Top 10 list. And then the second half of the show, we interview people. We've had some really killer guests. We've had Aaron Ra. We've had Andrew Torres. We've had Hector Garcia. Yeah. It's a lot of it's a really fun show.
Listen, nobody watches shows where people interview people. That's not. Nobody cares about that, right?
Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan's like the last.
No, yeah. Who? Joe? Who? Joe? Who? I don't know. I don't know who that is. But anyway, Well, Brently, welcome to this week's show. As always, folks, this is a call-in show, so we got a couple open lines where we definitely want to talk to you. It can be about anything. It can be about, well, I mean, not anything, but like a lot of stuff, like religion, Bigfoot, Yetis, QAnon stuff. There's some fun QAnon stuff that happened recently, which I do want to talk about. And actually, yeah, I might as well talk about it now. Here's the thing: in case you missed it, and you're a normal human being, those of you who watch know that I like to monitor the Q stuff. It's very fun. I don't get to talk about it enough, to be honest with you. I know way too much about it, and we were talking about this before the show. If I talked more about it, I think I would start to sound like something was wrong with me, just because how much I know about this ridiculous fringe movement that has somehow affected American politics and world politics in a way that we might not ever fully understand. But recently, in Dallas, Texas, a group of people gathered around the same area, I believe, where John F. Kennedy was shot. Don't quote me on this. To wait on the arrival of JFK Jr., who has been dead for like a while. And this is all because online conspiracies are saying that he's going to return and probably run with, certain presidential candidates. And it was kind of crazy. There's videos of it online if you haven't seen it already, but it's just a bunch of people just standing around with like Trump signs and stuff, just waiting for a man who's been dead for decades to come. And even posts after that, when he didn't show up, saying, "Oh, he's going to show up at the Rolling Stone concert tonight because, it's about rolling away the stone like Jesus." And anyway, it's a crazy, crazy thing. If you haven't seen it, I recommend look up just people doing their thing on that, because it's pretty wild, pretty wild.
And please call in if you were there. Like,
if you were there,
please.
I'd love to talk to you. I want to know what your thoughts are now and what the future holds, because it takes a special somebody to go out to an event like that, I gotta say. And it's weird, like it wasn't like it looked like a couple hundred people. I think they reported a couple hundred people out there, and you have to remember, those are the people that showed up, right? Because there's got to be ones that are like, "Oh, I couldn't make it that day. I had to get to work or something." I don't know. It's very bizarre. What do you think about all that, Brently?
Yeah, it was weird. And there's like videos too of them, like, and there's a bunch of people. They're just looking like they're, getting like they're a kid getting picked up from school afterwards. I'm like, is that my mom? No, is that?
Oh no,
that's her.
Oh no.
Oh no, they kept driving. No, that's not. That's not it. And that they just kept doing that, and you're just like, oh my gosh, really? Like they're really expecting this.
So yeah, I know. I just want to call this. And say that I called this, guys. I said that after the elections, Q was still going to be a thing and still affecting politics in ways in which we could not even imagine. I didn't say all that, but I did say it was still going to be a thing. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this is all going to die down." It is not. It is not, and it's still going on. I don't know if it's as popular as it was before. Probably not, but there's still people out there, and they are gathering in Dallas, Texas for some reason. I feel like he wouldn't show up at the place where his father was killed. That seems kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know why that was the place.
It seems kind of traumatizing, right? Like, why would you?
Seems a little disrespectful.
Yeah,
I don't know about that one, Chief. But anyway, I'm not part of the Q, folks. So you got to ask them why they would do something like that. Very, very fun.
And then the fact that he's not even of the party that Trump is.
No.
So that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Why him?
And this isn't even like, I bet we'll see some even weirder stuff later on too. I don't know. This isn't the end of it either. Like people are going to keep thinking, "Oh, it's all part of the ruse. He couldn't come out that day for some reason or another." So it's just one of those things. But anyway, we had a really, really awesome time last Sunday at our Halloween stream. Not you and me, Brently. I'm sorry. It was just me. Yeah. But and some of the other crew was out there with me as well. And I stayed at a haunted hotel. So if you guys missed that special stream, I stayed at a haunted hotel. I did actually spend the night there that night, and nothing happened. So I did lose a sock. So that was kind of spooky. So maybe there's some sock gremlins or something roaming around the Driscoll Hotel. Unconfirmed, but no specters to behold. But we did have some fun shenanigans. And so we want to show kind of a behind the scenes footage of what was happening there. But spoiler alert, we got our spoiler alert down there. if you haven't seen it yet, you might want to go watch the whole special before we show this behind the scenes stuff, but we want to get this to you guys. So check out this video.
Hi, everybody. It's Objectively Dan here from the special live episode at the Driscoll Hotel. I am here with our producer, Katie, who also coincidentally was the girl at the end of our video here in the bathroom. If you saw that part,
The resemblance is uncanny.
the resemblance is uncanny. So she jumped out of there. And anyway, we just want to show you a little bit about what we were doing here. We got all these cameras set up. All these fun lights as well. You can kind of see around the room. This is a real hotel room. This is supposedly the real haunted location, all set up here. And I'm actually going to be staying here myself tonight, so that is going to be fun. But as you can see here, you got the spirit board all lined up. Very, very cool. I love this spirit board. It was handmade by our producer, Greg. So, Greg, thank you so much for the love on that there. We also got the call-in studio over here, all of the lights, the phone at which I got to call room service with over there. Fun fact about this phone, not actually plugged in to anything, so that's really cool.
Fun fact about this hotel, no room service.
No room service here. And out here in the hallway, we are just in the kind of in the evening here on Halloween day. Here is our picture of Matthias. Now, this frame is a frame that we brought that we fit on top of another frame here at the hotel. As you can see, they already have these gorgeous portraits up, and we literally just put a frame of of Matt photoshopped with a suit and a hat. So that's really fun, and probably one of my favorite bits from tonight. We're also showing you, here is the crew back here with all of our Sour Patch Kids and Screwball. Very important to the stuff we're running tonight. We got all this equipment in the back as well. And this is our whole setup right here that we got going on. So in case you're wondering how we make the magic happens, it all comes from these fine folks in the back. So anyway, that was just a quick peek at what we got going on tonight. I hope you enjoyed our Halloween special. Thanks to everybody who watches. Remember to always keep wanting the truth, and I'll see you next time.
Woo, that was fun. If in case you're wondering, yes, I am that tall, and Katie is that short. We do have quite a bit of height difference there. It is kind of funny to look at that video and see that. But yeah, it was a great time. Really, really fun. The funniest part was all of the people when we were filming the outside stuff. There was a lot of guests that were still like in the rooms next to us, and they all wanted to know what was going on. They probably thought we were some like BBC documentary or something, but no, we were just some guys hanging out at the hotel making a spooky stream. So it was a good time had by all. So anyway, that was my Sunday. Really, really fun stuff. What'd you do with your Sunday, Brently?
I was watching you.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did say that you watched it, so that's good.
Yeah, no,
That is good.
That's super cool. I mean, it's too bad you didn't. You said you didn't see anything, right?
No spooky specters. Well, besides, of course, those mysterious folks that knocked on my door. Don't know what's up with that phenomenon.
Right.
In case you couldn't tell by our, that as well was done by our Hollywood magic here. I don't know if you thought that was real, guys, but we fooled you. We got you. Not actually ancient, patrons of the hotel. I guess ancient wouldn't be the word, but you know what I'm trying to say. It was very fun. Oh yeah, by the way, that's why I have the bathroom behind me. I didn't address that because allegedly I'm still like dead at the hotel here. Now we got the full shot, so I don't know if I'm dead. It kind of looks like I'm lying on the floor, but it's like I'm still there. I'm haunting the place now. I'm the spirit of the Driscoll. So there you go. That's for the clips, you guys. That's for the promos. Feel free to use that. Anyway, Brently.
Hey,
Brently, we've got a couple people on the line who want to talk with us. We can start a little early. What do you think?
Hey, That works. Yeah,
Let's do it.
man.
Let's start a little early. Well,
I'm
before we get to that, we have to thank our wonderful patron of the week. Thank you so much to everybody who became patrons after last week's special, and who also donated that night for the spirit board stuff. That was super, super fun. In case you're just watching this for the first time, we always shout out one patron of the week, and we can always use more patrons. So please feel free to become a patron if you so desire. This week's patron of the week is Fred Jergons. Thank you so much, Fred Jergons, for donating on patreon.com/truthwanted. And thank you to all the patrons who donate. You guys rock. You help make this show happen. This is done mostly by volunteers, including myself. So all that equipment and all the fun projects, that you saw, that is, we can continue to do those things the more patrons we have. So thank you for doing that for us. And now I think it's time we jump into some calls. So let's go ahead and do that. We have a caller calling in from California. This is Kelly calling in from California. Hey, Kelly, you're live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. How's it going, Brently? We've talked before.
Hey, man. How you doing, dude?
I'm good. Do you remember me? You have to remember me, Brett.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, we've
shoot.
debated a couple times. Like,
shoot. We got history here. We got beef. Is that what's happening?
No, he's delightful.
You got me.
Kelly,
we met each other before.
Okay, well, Kelly, what's going on? Why are you calling in tonight?
Well, I just found out about the show. Brent put it onto Facebook and happened to see it. Poked some fun at him, and then Robert Stanley, I don't know whether you know him or not, said, well, why don't you call in? They're going to have a show. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, so I see you talk with the call screener, and you are a theist. You do believe that God exists.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that. Are you a Christian? Do you believe in the Christian God?
Well, yeah, I am, but that's really not the subject at hand right now. I was really more talking about the fact that God does exist.
Okay.
You might pick whatever one you want, but I just feel that
I would call that one and the same, but I can see it's fine wherever you want to take this conversation, Kelly. If you just want to talk about the existence of God, I mean, if he is a Christian God, then that's still God, right? But
sure, absolutely, that's the one. That's what I know he is, but that wasn't the argument I was really planning on making tonight.
Okay, well, what was the argument you were planning on making?
Okay, well, in my humble opinion, let me just, I just got home, so let me shut off the car, get off the speaker.
Uh-oh. Kelly, you there? He took it off speakerphone. He probably just disconnected from the Bluetooth or something. Man, just we were actually getting to some stuff. Well, Kelly, if you are there, please, if you're watching, come call us back again and come talk to us, because I want to know if God is real and if you have a good argument for him. That will be cool. For those of you who don't know, I do not believe in God. Brently does not believe in God. In fact, it looks like you have a shirt that tells your opinions about religion in a nutshell there. It says bad religion for those who are listening on the audio there. But yeah, definitely, if you have an argument for God, I want to hear it. I want to talk about it. We'll see where that takes us. But for now, let's go ahead and talk to, speaking of Robert, we have Robert calling in from Texas. Robert, you're live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Happy to be here. Oh my God, Truth Wanted. That's what we need. That's what Kelly needs. He needs a little truth.
Oh shit!
All my friends are calling in. This is crazy. Like, it's been 2 calls.
Kelly Clemenson, are you kidding me? That guy couldn't handle truth if he got hit by a bus named Truth. But anyway,
damn! You guys are. Hold on, wait. You can't do this to me. You can't bring this beef onto my show and not expound upon it. Okay, what is this? You come to my house and bring this? What's going on?
Dan, I got to tell you, everybody calling in has got beef, and you gotta moderate this because it's about to get throwed. But let me tell you something. Kelly's got nothing. He's got nothing. But I did want to ask a question, if that's okay.
Okay, I guess so. I guess we're just going to ignore this whole other sidebar. But yeah, go ahead, Robert. You ask whatever you want. What's up?
Yeah, so I've heard a whole lot recently in the media about, from the religious right, we do not want to indoctrinate our children with LGBTQ rights, talking about trans stuff, talking about CRT. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
These people are terrified about it. But I when they use that word, and they always use that word, like they'll say, "Oh, wearing mask is slavery, vaccination that's slavery." Like they always use like trigger words, and I feel like they're using those trigger words now with indoctrination. And in this sense, they're saying you're indoctrinating our kids with history or learning about the fact that other people that might be different from you exist.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you guys, have you guys faced any indoctrination, like real indoctrination, not this fake indoctrination that they're using, as a trigger word? Have you guys faced any indoctrination in your life from the religious right, from Christianity, or from faith-based structures?
I think when you say trigger words, what you're meaning to say is dog whistles, right? Because like trigger words would be like, I think that would be something else. I think dog whistles is more the term. Because like, so for example, I literally saw this today while driving. There's a billboard that says like, "Stop illegals from coming into the country," and it's for this, candidate or whatever, as if our fucking ancestors came here legally, like whatever, like that didn't fucking happen. But okay. So, I see that kind of stuff, and that's definitely meant to like rile up a base. Like there's a lot of partisan messaging that is just meant to fearmonger, and people who haven't been in school for like 30 years are the people who are like the most worried about like critical race theory and like, LGBT brainwashing or something. I think, and that's the funny thing too. It used to be this argument where it's like, oh, well, you don't want your kids to be gay. And it's just like, well, most people who are gay, like, I mean, I don't know if it's most, but like a lot of them talk about how they knew they were already gay, like when they were kids. Like that's, that ship has sailed for a lot of people. But I don't know. It's just fear mongering. It sucks. I don't think I have been indoctrinated by the left, or by like, the kind of leftist politics that people talk about. If anything, I was definitely indoctrinated by the churches that I was a part of growing up, like literally indoctrinated. And just like the area that I was from, I mean, I'm from Central Texas. There's no liberal people who feel the same way around me as I do now for a long time, unless you get to Austin. People just see stuff on TV and they just get scared and they just hear it from other people. It's not really based on anything real, or if it is, it's based on like an anecdote that gets told by other people about something that happened at a public school somewhere. It's all just BS. But anyway, Brently, what do you think?
It's really frustrating. Like, honestly, as somebody who was actually indoctrinated and actually had my scope of information that I was capable of receiving limited to only the information that they wanted me to have, because that's what indoctrination actually is limiting the amount of information that you are able to obtain. And these people, and it's almost like dogmatic. They use the word dogmatic. Like, I'm sure Kelly's gonna end up using it if he calls back. Your dogmatic belief that a God can't possibly, it doesn't exist or whatever. You have to have this dogmatic thing, and it's just words that are used on them that I feel like a lot of times they don't understand really what they mean.
Yeah.
And then they do, oh, no, you're indoctrinated. You're the one that's doing the indoctrination there, and it's like, no.
Bradley, that was a fucking amazing old man voice. What the hell was that? Oh my God. That was brilliant. I hope you guys at home have like fucking Sennheiser HD fucking headphones because that was awesome. Please do that again later. Okay. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to break your train of thought.
Absolutely. No, and that's just my sort of go-to voice there when it goes. But yeah, no, that and the hillbilly. But anyway, yeah, no, and it's like they just don't like to have that. Because just knowing that gay people exist, knowing that trans people exist, right? That's not indoctrination. That's just information about the way reality actually is, you know, and they're going to be able to figure it out eventually, you know, but it's like they mess up that, you know,
it's like there is a contrary to popular belief, there is a gay agenda, and that is people trying to make positive representation of LGBT people, like in the media. Like, that's a thing on people's docket. Like, get over it. Like, it's been a thing for a while, and more companies are more open to do it because, you know, the markets have shifted, and capitalism means that we have to now market this thing now because it's cool, and that's, you know, there's a lot of commentary that can be said about that, but like, like there is more representation for stuff. People are more conscious of the kinds of casting choices they make, or the kinds of topics that they talk about in television and movies, because that's the world that a lot of us want to live in now. And, you know, there's other movies about other stuff, I guess, if you don't like it. But, you know, when most people are talking about it, they're just mad because, oh, there's a strong female lead in a movie, or oh, there's a romantic relationship that isn't made for laughs because it's a gay relationship. Like, it's, you know, that's what they're upset about. They're not making the movies like they used to. That's all. It's just, it's lame.
Kids these days.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Robert, I hope we answered your question.
You absolutely did, both of you. Thank you. I remember I was indoctrinated in fundamentalism, just like Brent and yourself, Dan. And one of the things I was told, I grew up during the Satanic Panic, right? And one of the things that I remember is they said, Satan will use the things that you're afraid of against you. And that's what I see them doing. They're actually acting satanic, at least in their own conception of Satanism.
Right.
And whatever it is that they're afraid of, they're pushing that out against non-believers. And I did have one last question, if you don't mind. I love the show, and I love Brently. If you don't mind, let everybody know, let me know where we can support Dan and where we can support Brent and Left of the Valley, if that's possible. Because I want to throw some patronage that way. I want to make a difference. I want to do my little part. And
Rob,
I believe in this. I really do. I believe in this.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Robert. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you calling in. And we're definitely going to do all of our plugs at the end so you can know where to find Brently at. And Robert Stanley, who just called in, has been on this show before as well. So you should definitely check out that episode of me and him on Truth Wanted. That was back in the studio days when I wasn't doing this thing at home. So Robert, thanks for calling in, and thanks for the kind words there. I had one other thought on the Satanic Panic stuff. Listen, if you guys want to laugh, there's a video on YouTube of a man talking about the Cheesecake Factory and how it's satanic. And it's not ironic. It is sincere. I think it's like a 10-15 minute long video. It's not the first thing that he's called satanic, but it is the most in-depth look of a Cheesecake Factory I've ever seen in my goddamn life. And this man has thought about this. He has really thought about this. There's another one with like the crate challenges. You remember how the crate challenges was like a thing, like people stacking milk crates and jump. Like, he talks about how that's satanic. It's a whole thing. It's a genre, and I'm all about it. To be honest with you, I love that shit. But anyway,
I remember that.
It's fun stuff. It's really fun stuff. Okay, so I think we have he's in the queue. Crew, let me know if we can talk to Kelly again. I do see him in the call-in queue. I don't see him in the host queue. If we want to talk to Kelly so we can figure out what's going on here, I'd love to do that. But for right now, we'll go ahead and take our next caller. I want to talk to Monty, who's calling from Idaho. Monty, you're live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing well, having a good time hosting the show. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm cool. I'm just I'm out camping. I'm just kind of hanging out here in Idaho, camping. So I'm having a good time.
You're camping in Idaho and watching the show? That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a really nice view here, and I'm just hanging out. I was about to grill up some burgers here pretty soon.
I don't know why you thought to ruin your camping trip by watching me, but hey, I'm all about it. Go ahead, man. You do what you do. That's awesome. Okay, so
I'm not really watching.
Oh, just listening. That works too.
Listening to you.
That works too. That works too.
Cool.
Okay, so anyway, Monty, what do you got for us today?
Yeah, I want to talk about sleep paralysis. I heard you guys talking about that last week or week before or something like that.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, and then we also ended up talking about it during the Halloween special. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago when we talked about it too. I don't know. It's apparently it's a common thing. Like, I guess I realized, I knew that I had it, but until I did the show, I didn't realize how common that experience was. It seems like a lot of people have had sleep paralysis.
Yeah, they have. So you've had it, Brent. Have you had it?
No, I haven't had it myself personally, but I've heard a lot, a lot of folks, of course, I think the people that were in my community that I've heard about it from were just basically just saying the symptoms and then attributing it to things that were not what it was. But yeah.
Right. So everybody knows what we're talking about. So anyway, I used to have it a lot when I was a kid, and I was like in my mid-teens. I would have it a couple times a week. It happened to me a whole bunch of times. I'd say maybe 100 times total. And you know how it is. It's really scary each time that it happens. So, it's kind of traumatizing a bit. I didn't know what was going on. I've never really been religious, but my family was. So I didn't know what was going on. Anyway, I was thinking about what you do when this happens. So, like, Dan, what do you do when this happens to you?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, I don't know if there's much you can do. Like, last time I had it, I just felt completely powerless. And like, you try to struggle and move as much as you can, but you really can't do much. You kind of just had to wait for it to go, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I would do every time. You'd struggle. It'd be like, all right, I'm going to try and move my left hand. And you struggle and you can't do it. Or I'm going to try to cry out for help. I'm going to do something. And you're just struggling. The whole time this is happening, you're struggling.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, that's not working. And it's happened to me so many times, and I'm just struggling in vain. There's like no reason. So I'm going to try something different. Next time it happens, I'm not going to struggle. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to wait for it to pass and try and stay calm and not panic. And so that's what I did. And it never happened to me again. And it's been like, I'm in my 40s now, so like 25 years ago. And it was happening like a couple times a week, happened a whole bunch. I did this, never happened again. So maybe that's a coincidence. I don't know. Maybe
did you call upon the name of Jesus to cast the demon that was clearly inhabiting you?
I don't recall doing that. No.
Okay. All right. Well, then
I did and forgot.
That's interesting.
Well,
yeah, that's
the other possibility is that the demon's just in there now, and it's just been in there for 25 years.
It's just chilling. It's just hanging out.
Yeah, I did think about
just
that.
Hanging back.
Yeah, I did think about that because my family was religious, and I didn't talk to them about it. I didn't talk to anybody about it. But I did think, maybe that's what happened. But regardless, my life's been pretty awesome. So if there's a demon in me, he's doing a good job. Keep it up.
He's doing a good job. Yeah, that's like, we talked about this on Sunday, but like how much religious experience can be explained just by either sleep paralysis or just like a panic attack or, just stuff that just kind of happens to people. And then they attribute like crazy meaning to it, right? Like it has to be the majority of human history, right? Like if you are a secular person and you think that, what we see is probably all that we got, like that kind of has to be the conclusion that you come to, which is really, really wild and kind of sad, but I don't know what to make of it.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of a traumatic experience. And so you want to, come up with some explanation for it.
Yeah.
Humans want to solve problems and come up with solutions and stuff. So
definitely.
Yeah, it must be this. And then once you got that in your head, it's hard to get it out, I guess.
Yeah. like we want to pretend like we're not just like sensing meat bags that like malfunction every once in a while. You know, it has to be something part of the grand design. But yeah, I'm not convinced of that.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, when you've been basically told these things are true from birth, right? That creates like a basket, right? And so like all the unexplainable things are explained by the shit in this basket, which is God or religion or demons or whatever whatever you got in that basket is explained by that shit, right? So you're just gonna keep doing that. Like doesn't matter. Like if you hear a weird noise in the hallway, you're gonna put that experience in the same basket. You know what I mean? And say, oh, that's a demon or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to keep on attributing it to the thing that you've already been conditioned to attribute things to. You know what I mean?
When I was at the Driscoll, I woke up kind of early and I looked at the curtain and I thought I saw something in front of the curtain. Turns out it was just the lamp. But like it was simply because I kept thinking like, how weird would it be if I did have like a weird crazy experience here, and what would I tell the folks at Truth Wanted? What would happen on the show? Would I be honest and be like, yeah, nothing happened, or would I like hide this dark secret of something that like I could never explain? But no, nothing actually happened.
I'm pretty sure you tell the truth. You're a pretty honest guy.
Right. Yeah.
I hope so. I hope I would. But then, like, I'd be like, because we get people calling all the time, like, yeah, I had this thing happen. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Sounds kind of weird. Maybe it's this. And that would be me. I would be me that time. I would be the one that's like, I had this weird thing happen. And callers have to explain it. But anyway, that didn't happen. That would have been a more fun show. But anyway, I'm glad you found a solution to your sleep paralysis problems, Monty. I hope you get a good night's sleep tonight and your camping trip there in Idaho, and I wish you well. Yeah, any further thoughts on that, Brently?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know what it is exactly that caused it. I mean, I guess just giving in, like seemed to be that's what they're saying, right? Just
I guess. I don't know if that's what
and-
other people have said. Yeah, I guess if you just kind of relax and just let it go, there's not much you really can do.
right? Yeah,
Unless someone's watching you and they can see that something's happening, but even then that doesn't always work. So
right. I've never had sleep paralysis like that, but I have had these like dreams that are so vivid that I wake up and I will like a lot of times I'll just meditate real quick, just go to close my eyes, just focus on my breathing, and do something like that. It generally calms me back down again.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do too, I think. So let's get to some more callers here. We're going to talk to Tony, who's calling in from Mexico. Tony, you're live on Truth Wanted. What is up?
Hello, Dan.
Hello. How are you?
I am well. Thanks for asking. I have called before.
Yes.
And well, the last time I was asking about the vaccines and all that, and you told me that some doctors may go to like shady schools in order to be doctors, and it depends on every country. But
right.
However, I do have some like big shots, like doctors that have like big names that actually speak against the vaccine. I want to throw a couple of those names. One of them is Luigi Warren. He's from the U.S. He is like one of the creators of the mRNA techniques, and he speaks against it. And there's another one that's called Roger Hodkinson. He's Canadian chief of pathology. I forgot. And I've seen some of his videos where he talks against the vaccine. And I wanted to know your take on that.
Oh, that's interesting. This is the first time I am looking at this, so I'm kind of figuring out, okay, mRNA technology pioneer people can shed spike protein. Okay, interesting. So, okay, they can shed by people vaccinated with the mRNA vaccine. Let's see. Let's see. This is one of those things where, since I'm looking at it for the first time, I don't know if I could have a great response. Now, this article I'm looking at here is from India Today, and let's see. If this says, note that Luigi's tweet claimed that people vaccinated with mRNA-based vaccines shed spike proteins, an idea that has been repeatedly been rejected by scientists from around the world. Twitter marking it as misinformation is hence not a completely baseless move. This is talking about how he made this tweet and then Twitter marked it as baseless. So, you know, if other scientists are disagreeing with him, then I'm going to go with the people who are actually involved with making the vaccine, right? Or at least people who are studying with the project. You know, like there's always going to be people that are going to be against the current trend, even people who are highly respected. But like, I think the evidence is clear at this point. Like, and I don't know when this was. Let's see, when was this? This was in May 31st of 2021. So this was earlier this year. But, you know, the vaccine has been out now for a while, and it has shown its effectiveness. There's evidence showing that they may be waning in its effectiveness. I think the jury's still on that. Last time I checked, again, I'm not an expert. But, yeah, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate that somebody who was so pivotal to this, you know, to development of the technology we have now is kind of tweeting against it, because that sucks. That sucks for everyone else out here who's trying to convince people that they should get vaccines. That's going to be good for them. I think people are just really paranoid and people are just really afraid. And, you know, they might say something that they can use some of their expertise on, but there's other experts that disagree. In fact, the vast majority of experts are saying that this is okay, you know? So that's all I can really say to that, really. I don't know, Brently, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'll start it out by saying, do not take medical advice from a podcast.
Yeah, that's true as well. That's true as well. But no, I will say take the vaccine. Is that medical advice?
So I would.
Can I say that? I'm going to say that. You should take the vaccine.
But I would still say the other two. Yeah.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
There you go.
Opinions of hosts may not reflect that of the ACA, but I think you should do that. Okay, so anyway.
Consensus, you know, is important. You know, I think, and you know, we look at that, it's 51%, and this seems to be significantly less than, you know, it's way more than 51% is saying to take the vaccine. If you have whatever this guy, how influential he was in the creation of the vaccine, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that they know more than everybody else. You know what I mean? So you really want to look at the consensus, and you want to, you know, because the majority is what is most likely to be the case. I would think, you know. Yeah,
and also like people are going to make specific claims. Like this is a very specific one. Like, oh, vaccinated people can shed proteins. That may not necessarily be the same thing as you shouldn't get the vaccine, or this vaccine is dangerous, you shouldn't take it. You know, but people can take that and they say, well, this person is speaking against it. I'm interpreting this as nobody should get the vaccine because this expert is saying that. And I don't know if this is what he's saying. This is me looking at this live, you know, and I'm just kind of spitballing here. But like, that's how people take this information. That's how people are going to use it. Some people are just going to want to believe what they want to believe, and they are going to cite stuff like the Plandemic documentary and all, you know, all kinds of bunk because they already have their biases in place, and that sucks. It really sucks, but that is the world we live in.
I think a lot of it has to do too, because like the you know, they feel like they've been demonized. You know, they're like, oh man, don't call me vaccinated. I heard this thing recently. It was like, don't call me vaccinated, call me pure blood. You know?
Oh yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, pure blood.
What the? Well, I mean, be more racist if you can't. Like, well, that's really creepy in my mind. Like,
that's funny that you went. I was thinking more like a vampire thing. Like,
right.
And Harry Potter. I'm not a vampire. I'm pure blood. You know?
I'm a mudblood because I got a fucking vaccine. But
yeah,
you know, it's weird. But it's like it's almost like they're trying to flip it. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
I forgot you were there. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I get the most is that you know, the media is spreading all this information, and they don't trust their governments or the media, and people want to go for independent sources, right? Yeah. They want to go for something that is not mainstream, something that is not being controlled by the strings, if you catch my drift. And
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Like the reason why like One America Network News exists is because like Fox News wasn't dealing enough of what the people wanted, when it came to like election stuff and all kinds of things. So like that got more popular. Like it's news outlets that are catering to particular markets. When we lived in a country that had like 5 channels you could watch on TV, you only had a couple of channels to look at and a couple of news stations, and they were our trusted institutions for giving us information. And now grandma is looking at something they saw on The Onion or some crazy other InfoWars, other kinds of sites, and they're thinking, oh, this must be the same thing as these big news outlets because they're published on the internet. And if you're published on the internet, look, you can't just post stuff on the internet, guys. There's so many rules and regulations there, right? But anyway, I think people kind of take that same level of trust, even though they shouldn't. And it's harder to figure out what's real and what's not when it comes to news outlets and stuff like that. So if you don't have those media literacy skills, it makes it even more difficult.
What would you advise? I mean, for somebody like me, like an ant, what to trust?
Yeah, so as far as like what to trust, there are definitely news sites that there's certain aggregate sites that will actually rate biases on news. There's a couple, I won't tell you all the names because you can Google, there's a couple different ones out there, and you can kind of see where they're coming from. But any news site that you look at, like India Today, I've seen India Today before, so I can read from that, and I think that's trustworthy enough. But like I actually haven't looked into it a whole lot, so maybe I could pick a better source for next time. But like you have to, when you're looking at news stuff, you have to see, okay, is this a source I've seen before? Is this a reputable source? What other kinds of information are they publishing? I'll take an example here. Hammett Mehta, someone who's been on the show, he publishes for the Friendly Atheist blog. Okay. He says himself, he is not a journalist. He calls himself a blogger. And his market is very particular. It's for atheists. He's going to have a bias there. Now, that's not negging on Hammett. I think he does a good job with his stuff personally. That's my opinion. But like, that's something you have to take into account. That hey, this is a news article that's going to be targeted towards somebody like me and probably people who watch this show. So I have to be careful with what I look at and see where these sources are coming from. A lot of people don't have the journalistic integrity that Hammett Mehta might, and who want to make a quick buck, or who are pandering on fears of people who don't understand this very complex situation that we have going on right now with the pandemic. It's not a simple thing to figure out. Like a lot of people don't have the same access to education about biology that the rest of us do when it comes to things talking about viruses and what mRNA even means and things like that. So it really, Tony, there's a couple things you can do, I think, as far as getting started with good research. John Green, that's the right one, right? Or is it Hank Green? One of the Green brothers has a great video on media fact checking that you can look up. But at the end of the day, this is definitely a systemic problem that I don't think a single person can actually solve. And I've had to come to terms with that because, I get frustrated every day looking at this stuff, but it's like, look, I can only do so much and I can do my best, but there's gotta be things beyond myself that can fix something like this. Anyway, that was a lot.
I will say real quick, the one thing that's been very helpful to me is to recognize the fact that we used to in America, and I don't know if you're calling where you're at, whatever, but like as far your news sources that you're getting, but there used to be a fair news doctrine, right? And so that was all done away with in the 80s there, and now we're what we kind of have to look to is other countries. Like I always kind of look to BBC, right? Because they get in trouble, they get sued if they publish false information. Yeah. Right. Same thing with Canadian sources. So looking to those, like, and it's not 100%, of course, nothing is as long as humans are involved in it, but like it's definitely helpful to kind of see what is going, like what they're reporting, because they can't lie. Like, and the other one that I would say is NPR, not necessarily because they're part of any fair news doctrine, but because that's usually marketed to like academics, and those people are a little bit harder to lie to. You know what I mean? As far as
Yeah.
I understand, like
It does happen. It does
It
happen.
does. Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
through. Don't get me wrong. It's not perfect. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it's more difficult if like the people that are the, astrophysicists and things like that are watching or looking at your news source and they go, hold on, this is bullshit. I literally do this for a living. Like, no, you're wrong. And
Yeah.
and they can call in and get it, revised or whatever.
Right.
But
Right.
Anyway, Tony, I hope that was helpful. We threw a lot of stuff at you, but there are ways that you can kind of mitigate it on your own and teach others around you to see how you can figure out what's real versus what's not real. And it starts from not taking medical advice by podcasts like this one, because I am not a doctor. I am not a Dr. Objectively Dan yet. We'll see. Maybe I'll go back and get my MD. You don't know. But regardless, we have a mid-roll promo. Mid-show, mid-show, same thing. We got a promo we got to show you for the other shows here. Come check it out.
So the new thing is jump humping, which is a soak, but you get your friend to jump on the bed while you're doing it so that they're the ones doing the motion.
So as not to offend God.
Whether you think chocolate tastes good because you
Yeah.
like the taste of chocolate, or chocolate tastes good because the chocolate man is the creator of the universe.
And instead, you have to like chocolate because it's the best.
I hear it's a really tiny holiday, anyways. But
Well, it's colder, so there's bound to be some shrinkage.
If he's given us something interesting to grab onto with our little teeths, let's see where it takes us. Okay?
That's true. And before anybody says anything about the little teeths, Johnny still has his baby teeth, and we're not going to shame him for that.
I don't want to beat up on anybody unnecessarily, especially if their view of it is, well, it's atheism with some extra steps. Okay. Everything is atheism with some extra steps.
Put the spirit can on. Thank you for that. Okay, we're gonna put our hands on here. Was that? Oh, there's the hand. Sorry, it takes a little bit to get over there. Come on, I gotta put my hand on here. There we go. Okay. Yes, that last bit was a great bit. I love doing the spirit board stuff. Somebody commented about it. They didn't know I was married because my third hand had a ring on it. So there you go. That's some fun fun extra trivia there about my third hand. But anyway, yes. Check out all those other shows. They're very, very cool. And the ACA makes some fun content for you to check out at your own time when you're not listening/watching Truth Wanted. So let's go ahead and keep going with the show here. We're going to try and talk to Kelly again. Kelly, who is calling in from California. You are live again on Truth Wanted. What is up?
Yeah, I got to learn how to use my phone.
That's okay.
Disconnect button when I'm trying to take out speaker. So,
the best of us.
Hey, I was listening, and my friend Robert called in. I figured
He certainly did.
I told him to. And he kind of threw a couple out at me. That's quite all right, Robert. I'm used to it. No problem. I got something. I don't have nothing. I got something. So anyway, yeah, it's good to be back on, guys. Thanks for kicking me back in. So
yes.
I think where we left off was I was going to talk about God's existence.
Yes, I would love for you to convince me that God exists.
Well, I don't know that I can do that. All I can do is give you evidence. You have to evaluate that yourself.
Okay.
You have to take that into consideration and evaluate. So,
all right.
That's what I did.
You should be confident in your ability to convince me, Kelly. You gotta bring the mojo in. I don't know. You do what you want.
Mojo, but it ain't about it. No, it ain't about evaluating. It's about whether or not you're willing to. But anyway, so I think there's several things that demonstrate that God exists, if you want to call him a designer, whatever. I know you guys are kind of fearful about the word God, but anyway, if you want to call it designer, that's fine with me.
I don't know if I'm scared. I'm not fearful. I mean, are you fearful, Brently?
No, not at all. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not fearful. I'm open to it if it has, if there's some good logic and reason behind it.
Yeah.
If I have good reasons to think that's true.
Okay, so
So it's not. So guys, it's just not my side that's logic and reason. You have to logic and reason as well.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, Kelly, listen. Here's the thing. If I was afraid, I wouldn't be talking to you right now on my show, right? So, I think we're open to it. We're ready.
Okay. All right. But both of us have to logic and reason, right? You have to logic and reason about your belief system. You have a belief system. It's called atheism. I have a belief system. It's called theism. And you have to reason between the two.
Well, those are definitely claims.
We can.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to debate on the system of belief that is atheism or whatever. I think we should just cut to the chase and let's just talk about the God claim. I think that's the best place we can go from here.
Okay. All right. Sounds fair to me. So, instructions in DNA. Brently's heard me talk about this. Robert's heard me talk about it. He calls it nothing, but it's real. Instructions in DNA have to have an origin.
Instructions in DNA have to have an origin.
Evaluate. And of course they do, because they're there. Me and you both agree on that, right? The DNA is loaded with instructions.
I don't know.
Molecule. You can look at any website. Look at any website you want to look at. It'll tell you.
Instructions kind of imply that there's an instructor doing instructing, and like that itself I would disagree with. Yeah.
That's your leap to conclusion. That didn't come from me. What I'm saying is that you have a set of instructions.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that they're instructions though. Like that's the thing. Like
the way you're framing it.
Yeah.
Okay, well now I'm talking about the evaluation part.
Okay, but you did say that websites and books and places will say it's instructions. And I agree with you to the extent, Kelly, I agree with you to the extent that people will use it as a metaphor, but I don't know like if scientists as a consensus literally believe that these are instructions.
It most definitely does.
Okay, well that is your opinion, and you can try to convince me of that.
My opinion, you look at this is what I was talking about when I said you got to come up with evidence. But you can look at any website you want to look at.
No,
every one of them will tell you DNA is a information instruction rich molecule.
Kelly,
anyone
that's fine that a website says that. That doesn't.
If you're saying that they're lying about it, if you're
I'm not.
All these different ones are lying about it, then who's the one that's not believing what's written? Me or you?
Oh my goodness!
It's the way you're framing it, man.
We just have a. If you heard what I said, yeah, people definitely use that as a metaphor. Like, yeah, people definitely write and say.
But it's not.
I'm sure there are lots of but whether or not you think it's a metaphor is different from the people who are authoring the books. And I don't think the people who are authoring the books, aside from the creationists and whatnot, are saying that these are literally instructions. Like, there are.
Don't go to the creation website, Dan. Don't go there.
I don't. So
website.
Check that off the list. That's fine.
Product. Go to the instruction product. Go to the DNA instructions on any Gmail you want to look at, and every single one of them will tell you there's instructions. It's obvious. The DNA tells the RNA what to go out and do, what to go out and build. The RNA tells the proteins what to go out and do, and it translates from DNA to RNA. That's just fact.
That is the function of these molecules. I 100% agree with you. Well, I mean, there might be some fine points there. I'm not a biologist, but on a base, Kelly, you have to let me talk, man. You have to let me go through this. Okay, I agree with you that is the functions that are happening within DNA. DNA interacts with RNA, and there's all kinds of fun stuff happening there. Whether or not it's intentional, okay, that is where we have a disagreement. Okay. Just because there are things happening and they're really cool doesn't mean that it's not a natural structure that occurs without a designer. Because I mean, that is the conclusion I come to. I do think that there is no reason for us to believe that there is a creator behind it. The fact that this exists in nature is not enough to come to the conclusion that there is a designer behind it. It really is not.
So any set of instructions you want to go to has an author. Every single set we know of.
Okay.
Only because
And
you're
the
afraid of
biggest
that.
set known.
No, we got it.
Can I finish?
No, we got it.
I feel like you didn't hear my point at all.
Didn't hear anything.
I just
listened. I wondered if I'm going to be able to talk or not.
Go ahead.
Kelly, you can talk as long as you're able to listen, okay? You have to convince us that these are instructions first. You cannot work with the assumption that, okay, every instructions has to have an author because we don't agree with you on the instructions premise. So you have to work with us there, you know?
But tell you what, you guys can both prove me wrong. You can prove me wrong. All you got to do is one thing.
What do you mean prove you wrong?
Author.
Do what?
Prove me wrong.
So,
all you got to
say that again.
One thing. Let me finish.
All right.
You can prove me wrong. All you got to do is one thing. Prove me wrong, and I'll admit to it. Bring me a book that has no instructions. You prove me wrong.
We talk about DNA. We're not talking about books. What is going on?
Instructions? Like
what the?
Any
Kelly,
book that's not an instruction manual.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
David Fitzpatrick on this show? David Fitzpatrick, is he there with you guys? Last time I was on with him, he wouldn't let me talk either. Well, DNA is full of instruction. You guys don't. If you guys don't think that, then you're living in the past with the guys you were talking about with the Umber Project that thought Robert Kennedy was going to show up. If you don't think there's instructions in DNA,
really, I'm with the guys that thought JFK Jr. was still alive because I don't believe in young Earth creationism or any kind of creationism for that matter. That's what that makes me.
And like the majority of that crew is Christian, right? You get that right?
Yeah, like they're the ones that definitely believe that DNA has instructions. I just want to make that clear, right? If you ask all those people, they are in agreement with you, Kelly. So you can make of that as you will.
I can't think because you won't allow for things to enter into your brain. Because the fact is,
the instructions weren't clear enough, I guess. I don't know. Like, I guess they weren't doing their job. I don't know. Kelly, I'm dropping this call because this is getting too hostile for me. I don't like this. This isn't my style. We didn't do street epistemology at all.
No,
and I failed at that. So that is my bad.
Me too. Yeah, sorry.
But, like, I felt like I was explaining myself really well.
You were, yeah.
I thought it was pretty clear, but it didn't seem like he was listening. I don't know.
No, he repeats. He just sort of keeps going over the same point that he thinks is like really, because I've had this debate with him, and it just drones on, and it's not entertaining. So I'm glad you kind of dropped it because it's like he just keeps going over. Oh, you can't make a book, and he like changed it, a book without instructions, and I'm like, there's tons of books that don't have any instructions there. Like
what he was trying, I think, with that point, what he's trying to say was a book has like information, and like there's an intent to that information to be conveyed to somebody else. Like I get that, that's just a difference in words. Okay, I won't fault him for that. But like I will say, you can't just start if we say, yeah, I don't agree, it's instructions. And for you to be like, well, instructions have authors, right? It's like, yeah, but we're not talking about instructions.
But
it's not the same thing.
Right. It's almost like if like each wave in the ocean, we applied a different, I don't know, like a letter or whatever, like anything like, oh, this describes a wave going this way, and then that wave will affect a different wave going thing. It's just a natural process, right? Like the waves knocking into each other, just a natural process. But if we applied, letters and numbers and stuff like that would look like a code, right? Okay. Then he's just taking that and going, oh, well, then there must be a fucking, water god or whatever,
Right.
It's like,
right. DNA is obviously very complex. Cells and the process of mitosis and the process of life is super complex, and I get that, but it's the way that it is because of millions and millions and millions of years of evolution that have led to this point, and that makes more sense. It wouldn't make sense if we just popped up here one day and there wasn't any evidence of any ancient humans or other organisms. Then that would be reason to believe, like, yeah, maybe there's something there, right? Maybe you could entertain that, but we do have evidence of ancient organisms, and we have evidence of organisms that were less complex, that become more complex over time. And a complex, of course, that gets very technical with what you mean by that, but you get my point, right? Like there isn't a question of the origins of humans as far as as far as like how we came to where we are today, that is the process of evolution. Life on Earth, there's a couple different theories for that, right? But how we are today, that's not, that's not like majorly up for debate. There's going to be bits and pieces of us that we don't understand, but it was evolution. We definitely know that.
And we don't know what started it, but that's fine. I'm fine just saying I don't know, man. Like I have no idea what started whatever, whether it's just some
definitely
just whatever. I don't know. There's so many options I can't even
I need to give full disclosure. I feel very bad. My show does not really usually go that way. I'm just like
sorry.
No. It's like I want to have good conversations with people and have really honest talks about why people really believe what they believe. I really want to know why, but we have to have a conversation. We can't just pretend like I said something and then just forget that it never happened. So if there's honest interlocutors who want to talk with us about whatever their beliefs is, please don't feel like you're going to be shunned or made fun of. That's really not my intention. My intention is for this to be a space where you can call in and talk about it and we can really have a discussion, but not whatever that was. But
no,
anyway.
I think that's why Robert was kind of warning us about that.
Well,
sort of ahead of time there.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
It is what it is. We got another call here. We're going to talk to Brian, who's calling in from Oregon. Brian, you're live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Hello, Dr. Dan, Dr. Brently. How are you guys doing?
Yeah. I guess, or if I'm Mr. Dr. Dan, that's still legal, I think, because if it's part of my name.
When I was a Christian, I worked for Foundation of Human Understanding, a church group, a conservative church group, believed in exorcisms, et cetera, and a lady came into the front desk, and I happened to be working close by, and she threw this tape at the lady behind the desk, and she said, "There are demons on this tape. This place is of Satan, and I'm never coming back here again."
Oh, my God.
And I go, whoa, what's going on? So I went up to the front desk to see what the heck was happening. And the lady there gave me the cassette, and she said, evidently there's recorded demons on this tape. So, guys, we've got evidence now. We've got proof. So we went back and played the tape back, and sure enough, you could hear, and it was the pastor. You could hear him talking in between, and it was right over top of his voice that all these demons were just talking and trying to block him out. And so that didn't sort of sit right with me. So I wanted to try something because we record those tapes at 16 times sound speed when we make the duplicates. So I sped up the tape and recorded it sped up. Then I sped it up again and recorded that sped up. So now we're going 2, 4, 6, 8. And by the time I got up to 8 times sound speed and played the cassette, you could hear it saying, "Breaker, breaker, Charlie, there's Smokey up front there at the light, so be careful."
Okay, so interesting.
It was CB radio that was bleeding into our playback head because someone didn't connect the ground wire to it, and it was acting like an antenna, picking up CB radio and putting it on the cassette tapes that were sold, the copies, at 16 times sound speed. But when you play it back at normal speed, it's going to sound like grunts and groans. I mean, you're not going to make your tails out of it.
Brian, that's so funny.
That's an example of audio pareidolia.
Yeah, you dove straight into that story, and I was like, you threw me off for a second there. I didn't know where you were going or what was happening, but that's really funny. That reminds me of the story. It was like an urban legend of these Russian scientists that tried to drill a hole down deep into the earth, and then they had a tape recording of hell. And if you listen to it, it sounds like people screaming, but it's just like audio from like an old movie that was just like manipulated. So it sounds like it's just a situation like that. People just get scared over nothing.
I feel like I remember you. Did you call into Seth Andrews' show?
Say again?
You called into Seth Andrews' show, correct?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I was gonna say, I was like, this sounds way too familiar, but I feel like I know where he's going with this. All right. Cool. No, how's it going, man? No, that was really. It was an interesting story. I had a good time listening to you, tell it. So.
Pareidolia only occurs for visionary type experiences, not from audio, and it was very funny that was the case. And after, that didn't cause me to become an atheist, but since then I have become an atheist. But the end result is that people will jump to conclusions, especially the fact that our pastor did do exorcisms, and so that primes the mind
Oh my gosh.
of people that are even in the... Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So
Yeah,
he was
that's...
an hypnotist, by the way, too.
Yeah, that's not good. There's definitely an audio word for like pareidolia. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but like it's the same kind of phenomenon where like you think you hear satanic lyrics in Beatles songs. We're talking a lot about Satanism today. But yeah, like satanic lyrics in Beatles songs when you play it backwards and stuff. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Definitely people like thinking they're hearing something that's not there. That's very funny. Like when you're so primed to view the world in such a religious mindset, it's like with ghosts, right? Like you suddenly everywhere you see ghosts, like everywhere you're seeing demons, everywhere you're seeing like the influence of satanic people. Oh, the crew put the word in for me, apophenia.
Well, that's just fine.
Apophenia
Apophenia is just finding any kind of connection between anything that's not there. But
you're right.
It's
You're
still
right.
true. Yeah, it's accurate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Before
Well, Brian,
my brother died, he tried to illustrate, or not illustrate, demonstrate how people would see ghosts during a thunderstorm. If somebody's standing in a window looking outside at the storm and a flash of lightning hits, you'll see your reflection in the window.
Oh yeah.
When the lightning hits. Yeah, and so you look like your dad pretty close, and so you think you're seeing a ghost of your dad.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
possible,
that's
yeah, I
interesting. Huh? Yeah,
Room,
I guess.
and someone is standing there, and you take a flash picture of them, and then you turn the lights on, and there's nobody there. Your eye will still see from the perception. Oh dear, what do you call it for a movie film?
Image.
From scene to scene.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, gentlemen. Keep up the good work.
Thank you for calling in. Appreciate that story. That's a fun one. I did, like I said, he just jumped straight into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening? That took a second.
Well, it was he was set ready to go because he'd had that. I swear I heard that same, and it's a fascinating story. So don't get me wrong, like that was really cool, like what he was talking about and everything. But it was just weird because I was literally just listening like yesterday, I think, to the Seth Andrews episode, and it was like almost verbatim.
Yeah,
the same story. So I was like, what is happening? Am I going crazy? Why am I hearing the same? But,
yeah, that's really funny. Okay, so next we got we'll try to get to everybody we got here for the remainder of the show. We got a little bit of time left. I want to talk to John. John's calling in from Texas. John, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's up?
Hey, yeah, I heard y'all talking a little bit about evolution. I wanted to ask what you thought about entropy. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know y'all really don't know, but I just want to hear how y'all rationalize, entropy and evolution being a part of the same, universe and not contradicting. Evolution still existing somehow without contradicting entropy.
Yeah, well, like entropy from like a physics point of view, that's just talking about like thermodynamic energy. And a lot of people think, oh, that means that we can't have things like form into stuff, but like that's obviously not true. Like if humans are able to build computers and they're able to build them more and more complex, then that's that's just us doing stuff. But again, that already exists. We don't debate the existence of computers, Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a whole different thing because obviously we all agree that we built computers, but with evolution, it's claiming that it just built itself out of randomness, which by today's, if we look at how things work, the laws of physics don't really say.
See, John, I don't think evolution is exactly claiming that we are built out of randomness. In fact, like if we are natural beings, right, and we become quote unquote more complex over time, then we can build more complex things. That would still fall in line with what can happen with evolution. But like, I don't like, systems and structures of molecules come together through various chemical reactions, and as long as chemical reactions are taking place, like things are going to happen. And when atoms bond in certain ways, then you're probably going to get the first bit of life, and then when those bits of life interact with other bits of life, new bits of life happen, and then suddenly you got people and the internet and JFK conspiracies and all kinds of stuff, and we might regret it by the end, but we're not there yet. So we still got some stuff kicking. Humanity, I mean.
You're just regurgitating kind of what you were taught. You never really like came to these conclusions yourself or nothing, right? Like religion, when it comes to most people.
I never came to these conclusions myself. That's interesting. I guess I wasn't a Christian for the first 20 years of my life, but yeah, okay, that's fine. Weird of you to make that assumption, John.
I was asking a question. I wasn't stating a fact or anything.
It kind of sounded like you just stated a fact. Kind of like you just said that I didn't think of this through myself.
Right when you started saying that, I was like, no, I'm asking a question. But I'm sorry, I don't know how to be. I'm trying to be as monotone as possible, so I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything. I'm trying to be as forward as I can be.
Tone's not the issue. What was
it's definitely the words, but yeah. What like is the question? Did I come to? I mean, like I got a high school education in biology, right? I did go to college. I took a lot of courses in anthropology, specifically biological anthropology, which was difficult. Didn't like doing that. So yeah, like I am not an expert by no means, but I definitely came to more of an understanding that yeah, human beings are evolved just like every other life form on Earth through that education.
And what I was saying was you're regurgitating the same information in the same way that like a religious person, when they are told something, they just repeat what they're told. They're like, this is the creation of reality, and then they say, well, who told you? It's in the Bible. And I'm saying you're using the same kind of mindset.
I don't think so.
But the Bible's kind of
I really don't think so. I think my conclusions are based on the observations of people applying the scientific method to reality and doing long stints of studies and observations, writing them out into papers, citing their sources for other papers, figuring out where they get their conclusions from, and eventually publishing that work into scientific journals, which eventually gets into textbooks, which I read, and then I learn information from, which is not how the Bible was made, if we're going to make comparisons.
So, okay. I mean, I definitely know the Bible's not perfect, and it's subject to corruption. I wonder if you can say the same for educational textbooks. Is that possible as well?
Not perfect, and I'm sorry.
I'm
perfect
sorry.
and based on myth are two different fucking things, man.
The New Testament, like half of the New Testament letters from Paul, aren't even from Paul. Like those are forged. Like textbooks are updated every year with new information to correct the old stuff. So it is going to be a representation of our best understanding of reality as we know it until the next textbook comes out. So yeah, I have a lot more trust in that process than I do the Bible, which was put together by various people at various different points of time with different agendas that we can never interview and never know the full extent of because we can't talk to them anymore.
Yeah, I'm not here to defend religion or Bibles. Obviously, any ism, any certain ideology can get you stuck in a real narrow view of reality. I'm not trying to be like, oh, the Bible is the answer.
Sure.
Religion is the answer. I was just asking how can you, what's it called? Logically, or I'm trying to think of the right word. like when you, logically, how can you like accept the laws? But you already said what you said, so I already got the answer. And I mean, it's not like I didn't expect something like you said. School, you went to school and they told you that, so you believe it. So
Well, because myth
I wish
is
I could say
different
more.
than like a book that's a myth is different
Myth.
than demonstrable science that's been compiled over time. That's a different thing.
The
We have
things
better
that
reason.
from the books that we read, John, at least like scientific textbooks, if they're a good one, they come from a methodology. There is a reproducible methodology that, in theory, you and I could replicate. Now, obviously, I can't know everything, and I can't be an expert on everything, so I have to put a certain amount of trust in the people that are publishing those books, and inevitably, that's going to be wrong on some things. I definitely believe things that are wrong currently. That's just it's just how it is. But like, I can also trust that the same people who are putting that information out there in books are going to do their best to try to update it when new information comes in. And we see that happening in science all the time. People talk about, oh, scientists used to believe in this, now they believe in that. It's like, yeah, because they did science even harder and figured out some new information. So as long as that process keeps happening, we can be a little bit more trusting in that than we can with a book that is, saying that it's supposed to be perfect. Well, it doesn't say that it's perfect, but other people say it's perfect, and that we should be following based on what people's opinions. I mean, that's nothing compared to what we can do for books pertaining to science. It's totally different. I understand what you're saying when it comes to, people getting stuck in their worldviews, right? People like being hard-nosed about this stuff. And I don't know if empiricism can solve everything, right? I don't know if the scientific method can give us the answers to everything that we know, but it sure does show a lot about stuff that we can demonstrate to be true. And I don't see any religious beliefs that can do that. So unless there is one that we can kind of examine together, I would say that they are definitely different things.
I agree. Yeah, science and religion, those are two separate things. Like, one's meant to explore the physical world. Religion is more of a metaphysical, like a metaphysical thing. It's more of a metaphysical practice, kind of, in a manner of speaking. Like, I wanted to say something to the guy who was talking about how, like, religion or spirituality, or one of them's based off of myth and the other one's based off of whatever he said.
Yeah,
it was based off of. I would like to say that, I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but the foundations of science was like founded on mystics and alchemists and, spiritual thinkers. So if you think like barbarians and people who were raiding villages were coming up with the foundations for the science we have now, you're kind of delusional, because it wasn't the people who were just at war. It was the people that you think are crazy today. Okay, go ahead.
It doesn't really matter to me like where it came from. Like what I'm concerned, like, oh, the people like way back then, like the apothecary people or whatever, oh yeah, they were also mystics and stuff like that. That's your point. Is that you're saying that means that that makes the mystical stuff reasonable?
No. But John, it's not the foundations, it's the history. Right? Like, that's totally different. Isaac.
Oh my God. Okay.
It's different, John. Isaac Newton was an alchemist. Like straight up. He was super into that. The reason why we can say all that stuff is BS now is because of the science that we have today and that he didn't have then. Like, that's the reason why we can say all this stuff is crap. The fact that people were using early preliminary forms of science and had different beliefs doesn't mean that they were wrong in trying to figure out the world.
What do you think all of reality comes from? Just so I could get your perspective on things real quick when it comes to the creation of the universe.
I have no idea where reality comes from. I'm not even sure if that is a comprehensible question, really a congruent question. It might not even be a meaningful statement to say that reality comes from somewhere. It might just be.
Yeah, isn't reality just
matter.
there?
Go ahead.
Like, it just is.
Sorry.
A reality just is. It doesn't. It doesn't just come.
Well,
it doesn't come from
scientific. That's not. What kind of scientific answer is that? Reality just is. That's not really. I'm trying to I'm asking, what do you? You're okay. I
I mean,
asked,
like
what do you-
matter
what are your
and
thoughts on
stuff.
reality?
Like reality is
You said
like
it just is.
yeah,
Okay.
reality.
I mean, hey, that's an answer. That's fine. Yeah, if you want to go with that.
Okay, like matter and space and all the
Okay,
things
well,
that
hey.
function within reality. Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know where it came from.
So all life, do you believe it came from one organism?
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Like the mainstream says. Come on, you everything you're saying is over here. It's exactly going in line with the conventional, narrative.
Why are you stereotyping us, man? What's up with that? Why don't you ask us what we believe rather than make assumptions?
I literally asked you, and you gave an answer, and then I told you, okay, well, so far everything you told me is what you said, textbook, right out of elementary and college stuff that they were saying. So I don't know what else I can,
No,
I was homeschooled by fanatics, man, so I didn't take that class. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But you don't have to believe that matter is all there is. Okay, you don't have to believe that. That's not a requirement. But in order to say there is something beyond the physical, we have to have reason for that. And Brently and I think, share the opinion that there's not a lot of good reasons to believe that at the time. Maybe we'll find some reasons in the future, but right now, I personally don't see any reason why we shouldn't assume that what we see is what we get.
Which one of y'all was the one that has the sleep paralysis?
John, where are we going with this call, man? We got to wrap up this show here, but I am curious. I'm the one with the sleep paralysis. What do you want to say about that?
I wanted to say when you're in the state of sleep paralysis, that's the state where you're like half awake and half asleep. And literally, I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but you're too focused on trying to move the body. But if you focus more on your mind, you can literally, that is when you are in the state of, lucid dreaming. Like you can lucid dream when you're at that point. That's all I was saying. Because I do it whenever I get stuck in sleep paralysis, I start creating my whole world. Like you couldn't just control the whole universe because you're in control of everything. But dream world.
All right.
That's it.
Well,
I was trying to get the call earlier. Y'all wanted to stay on with me. So hey, I appreciate y'all taking my call.
I appreciate you calling in, John. I appreciate you calling in, and thanks for that tidbit at the end there. A lot of mixed messages with that call.
Yeah, it was odd.
I guess maybe the way that John was really phrasing things, I'm not sure if he really knew that what he was saying was like pretty assumptive, right? Like,
well, it reminds me of like how I used to think when I was a Christian. Like, well, you're just taking everything from those people, and that's like because that's the way you've been taught. So you're like, that's the way I think, and so they're doing the same thing over there, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I guess I thought he was like trying to make some digs, but I think he was generally just trying to figure out what was going on, and maybe that was a bad assumption on my part to assume some motives there, and maybe I was also riled up from our previous call. It put me in the mood. I think that's probably what it was too. I don't know. John, I hope you got something from that. I hope you figured out some other people's point of view, because I definitely had some preconceived notions about what atheists believed or didn't believe that were totally wrong and that were totally just fed to me from churches, so that I can see why it might be a surprise when you actually get to talk to somebody and they might say, no, actually it's a little different than what you might think. So
yeah,
fine stuff. Okay, I think that is pretty much all the time we have for this show. If you're still on the line, please come join us in the Discord after show. We always try to do a after show during this show in a fan run Discord server. The link for that is going to be in the description, tiny.cc/AC Discord. So come check us out and come talk to us as we answer your questions about today's show. I want to give a special thanks to Brently for being on today, man. Brently, thanks so much.
Yeah, anytime, man.
Yeah,
great.
So if people want to find you, where should they go?
Leftatthevalley.ca. It's probably the best place to get that. I mean, we also have if you just look up unapologetics in any of the podcast players spelled with an X, that's another show. And then we also do every Wednesday night. We do at 11:30 p.m. EST. We do a panel stream, unapologetics panel stream, where it's basically just the cast of Left at the Valley, and we just have fun. We just watch a bunch of videos, and we always end with a music video. And I shit you not, the last, like a couple weeks ago, was Baby Got Book, that was created by a youth group. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. The guy likes big Bibles, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy.
What? Music video. Brently, you can't just drop that at the end of the show, dude. What are you doing?
I know. I should have put that at the beginning, right?
Well, now I know what I'm doing after this. I'm gonna look up Baby Got Book, I guess.
You have
Damn.
to. Yes.
Damn. Okay. Well, that is interesting. Folks, this is Truth Wanted. This is a live broadcast that happens every week, Fridays at 7 p.m. Central. So if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this wherever you can find podcasts, you should definitely check out the live show. Obviously, it's pretty fun. There's a lot of chat interaction and stuff that happens that you miss out on. And of course, you can have the opportunity to call in. So come call in next time and watch the show. There are a couple of different ways you can support this show. One of them is through Patreon. Want to give a thanks to everybody who donates on patreon.com/truthwanted. You guys are awesome. You help make this show happen every week. So thank you guys for doing that. I also want to talk about our merch. If you like Truth Wanted and you want to wear it because you're so proud of it, we got merchandise for you. It's that hoodie season again, boys and girls and non-binary pals. Everybody, it's hoodie season, at least if you're in this part of the world. So get excited. Got to rock those Truth Wanted hoodies. If you want to talk to tomatoes, I don't know why I went there. That's the VeggieTales thing.
Right. I was just like,
it just kind of had that timber to it. If you want to email the show, you can do that. It's truth@atheist-community.org. You can follow me on Twitter at ObjectivelyDan. You can also follow the Facebook page for Truth Wanted. It is a fan-run Facebook page. So check out that fan group if you want to talk to other people who like the show. And this show can be found as part of the AEN Podcast Network. So check out some of those other podcasts like we did the mid-show promos for. Check them out. They're all really cool. And last but never, ever least, I have to thank the wonderful, fantastic, amazing, stupendous crew that help make this show happen every single week. Look at that crew. One of them's about to go on a roller coaster, it looks like.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Save a spot in line for me, please. I'd love to go on a roller coaster. Maybe not now. It's a little late, but I don't know. It'd be cool. Anyway, Brently, we are going to go to the after show. But before we do you have any words of wisdom you want to give to everybody at home?
oh, shoot. Words of wisdom. I mean, I'm not the sharpest light bulb in the crayon box there, but I would say that, question everything unless there's good evidence to suggest that it's true. I
like that. And with that out of the way, folks, I'm Objectively Dan. This is Truth Wanted. Remember to always keep wanting the truth, and I'll see you next time.
Watch the nonprofits and join the hosts in the live chat. Sundays at 3 p.m. Central between the Atheist Experience and Talk Heathen. Visit tiny.cc/YTNP.